What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another stimulus update, and welcome to your third stimulus check update, stimulus package update, and news report for Tuesday, March 9th. Yesterday, President Biden said that he would sign the $1.9 trillion stimulus package, and I quote, "as soon as I can get it." We also heard from Nancy Pelosi, and Nancy Pelosi stated that the House will vote on this $1.9 trillion stimulus bill no later than Wednesday morning. That means tomorrow morning. Many people, though, are asking, why is this taking so long? The Senate passed the bill on Saturday. Why did the House not pass this bill on Monday? Well, here's what we know, and according to Nancy Pelosi, this is her exact statement. She says, and I quote, "It depends on when we get the paper from the Senate. It has to be very precise, and it takes time to do that. It has some changes that they have to precisely write. It could be that we get it tomorrow, which is today, afternoon, and then it has to go to rules, and we'd take it up Wednesday morning at the latest." So what Nancy Pelosi is stating is that they still haven't received the paper yet because it's very difficult to write this. It's somewhat complicated. She also stated that after they get it from the Senate, it will have to go to the House Rules Committee before it can even be passed. So there's still a little ways to go. Even Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, he stated that the Senate's bill is fairly complicated, and they were still working on this bill later last night. So we could see this arrive at the House sometime today. Again, the House and the Senate, it's in the same building, but they pretty much just transfer the paper, whatever, right? And it goes to a vote. Problem is, it does take a little bit of time. But what is really holding this up? Well, according to reports, they are indicating that there's multiple problems in writing this bill. There's a couple bigger problems. The first big problem is determining how the child tax credit will be paid out. I guess it was supposed to be fairly easy. However, it's not that easy according to the Senate's rules. So they have to write it so that it abides by the Senate rules before they can send it off to the House. We also know that the next biggest problem, and this is a huge problem that many people are figuring out right now, is that they're trying to figure out how to deal with the unemployment income tax waiver of the first $10,000, $10,200. What we know, and you may not know this yet, but if you received any money from unemployment, any unemployment income, you will get a waiver, which means you do not have to pay any income taxes on the first $10,200 of that income, as long as you don't make over $150,000 in adjusted gross income for 2020. Now, we do not know if this provision will be extended through 2021 as well. Many expect this would be. However, it's not going to come from the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. If a provision gets input in here or amended, it would most likely come in President Biden's Build Back Better plan, which they are still starting negotiations on. Now, Democrats feel that both of these provisions are extremely important, and botching this now would make getting the money so much harder. And this is something that Democrats have been watching out for because they said that the Trump administration completely botched the CARES Act. So here's what we know. Democrats say that they don't want what happened with the initial CARES Act to happen this time around. And if you don't remember what happened, Congress had to keep stepping in and adjusting the verbiage within the bill in order to make the funding easier to actually access for many different agencies. And so this was a big issue because this is one of the reasons why the PPP funding went out to pretty much just anybody, because that's kind of the way they wrote it. This is also why there's some money that wasn't spent by the states because they couldn't spend it. They didn't have the ability to spend it based on the way the bill was written. And so Congress had to step in, make some modifications, and then finally the money started to roll out. But again, it took some time. And Democrats say we cannot botch this. It has to be done right. The good news, though, is that for families with children making between $30,000 and $40,000 per year for 2020, that they will get an average tax benefit of about $7,200 for this year alone. This is more than a 20% increase in your after-tax income, which some say that is a huge increase. And we could see this tax benefit get extended for multiple years. This is the earned income credit, this child tax benefits. Those are two big tax benefits that could be extended past just 2020. We also know that this is one of the things that progressives are pushing for, but this isn't the last of it. Progressives are also pushing for $15 minimum wage increase. They want the larger child tax credits, and they want this to go for longer. They want more aid for the unemployed. They want relief for students. And the big thing is they want to include recurring stimulus checks. Now, as far as why progressives are pushing for all this additional stimulus now and why they were not fighting for this during the $1.9 trillion stimulus package debate is actually pretty simple. Based off what we are hearing is that progressives had all these things in mind, and Democrats were like, okay, we'll give you this, we'll give you that, but these things we're going to have to wait because they contradict some of the other stuff we're doing. So we're going to give you these things, great, but you have to vote on our bill. Now, progressives are pretty much saying, okay, we're voting on your bill, we will pass this, we will agree to the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. However, even though it doesn't have some of our priorities in there, but when we start to negotiate President Biden's $4 trillion stimulus package, stimulus package again, keep saying that it's his Build Back Better plan, which some are saying will have more stimulus than this $1.9 trillion package. But when they start to negotiate that, progressives are saying, we want these priorities. And so this is kind of the list of things we're seeing. So a recurring stimulus check could be in here. However, and I just want to be 100% clear with this, they are not talking about giving a recurring stimulus check to any individual making $75,000 or less, any couple making $150,000 or less. That's not what they're discussing. What they're thinking about is providing recurring stimulus checks to the lowest income individuals and families. This means individuals that make, let's just throw out a number, $30,000 or less, and a couple making $60,000 or less. Those would get a recurring stimulus check. And now, for how long? Probably for the remainder of the year. It could go even further, but as of right now, we just don't know. President Biden does have his goals, and he doesn't want to spend all this money on a stimulus check if the money is not going back into the economy. And that's the issue right now, is that some are saying that we are going to spend a lot of money on a stimulus check, and we might not ever see it. Some are predicting that President Biden wants to pass a roughly $2 to $3 trillion Build Back Better plan, but progressives want to see it closer to $4 trillion. But there's more to this, okay? There's more to this, and I'm gonna get to that in just a second. But what you need to understand right now is that the goal is to give the economy a boost, to give the American people some relief. So here's the way they plan on doing that. First, we know airlines are going to get about $15 billion. They are saying that right now this is going to help people get back to work. This isn't a bailout for the airlines. This is a way to bail out the airlines to provide wages to their workers. Okay, great. We also know restaurants, they're going to get $25 billion as well. And what we are hearing is that this is going to save tens of thousands of restaurants from closing their doors, which means the workers, the servers, the cooks, the wait staff, whatever, they will continue to have a job, which means they don't have to go on unemployment, which means they will continue to earn an income and be a contributing member to our society. That is great. We even know small businesses are getting another $20+ billion as well. This will go through the Small Business Administration, and they're going to provide about $15 billion through the EIDL program. This is going to help sole proprietors and independent contractors, and you can get up to $10,000 in free money simply just by applying. Now, we don't know exactly how this is going to work for this new program. However, what's currently being discussed and what they're currently doing is they're targeting specific areas and specific individuals. So we will see. And of course, we have the $1,400 stimulus checks. And I want to touch on this again for a couple different reasons. The first reason why is because this is what everybody wants. Everybody wants a $1,400 stimulus check because they say, I need it. I am going to spend it. I will not save it. However, that's not exactly what researchers have been saying. Researchers in multiple different studies are expecting that the majority of people will save the majority of their $1,400 stimulus check, and that very small amount of people will actually spend it. According to their reports and their findings, households with over $78,000 in income will spend less than 7%. The middle income families will spend anywhere from 15 to 23%, or about $90 to $140 of their $1,400 stimulus check. We also know low income families will spend about 21%. And this is why many Republicans and Democrats included have been saying we need to provide more stimulus funding for the lower income individuals and families because they are more likely to spend it. But low-income families will spend about 21%, or $294 of their $1,400 stimulus check. But this is why many lawmakers are calling the $400 billion, it's over $400 billion, I think it's like 480 or something like that, but they're calling the $400 billion that's spent on these stimulus checks, according to this report, is saying the worst use of funding they have ever seen. My guess is this is coming from a Republican. It doesn't specify in the article, though. Right now, we know the estimates show that before COVID struck, that Americans had a total of $2.1 trillion in savings. Some people are like, wow, that's a lot of money. Well, the average right there is more than the majority of people even have. But now, Americans have roughly $3.9 trillion in savings, meaning we have saved almost double what we had before this pandemic. But some are saying that these reports indicate that this is not because people are making more money. And that's what a lot of people are thinking, that, okay, well, we're saving more money because we're making more money. Well, that's not necessarily the truth. What we are hearing is that this is because Americans are worried about the direction of the economy. Are we going to have a job in a month or so? Are we going to have to pay more for the same things we're buying right now? Some expect, yes, there will be inflation. And then many experts believe that the money is being saved due to the fact that consumers do not have a way to spend it. We can't really travel, or we're being urged not to. We can't go to a restaurant and dine in. Okay, so what do? We eat at home. We save more money. And then obviously there's in-person services that we just can't partake in. For example, a lot of bowling alleys are closed, so we can't go bowling. Movie theaters, which are fairly expensive, we can't go watch movies because they're closed. So what do? Well, we stay at home, watch movies at home. We play around on the internet, watch a YouTube video, educate ourselves, and all that stuff is, in most cases, free. So that's how the American people are saving more money. And until this pandemic is under control, most expect the amount of savings to only increase, which makes people wonder, especially economists and Republicans are wondering, well, if we are worried about this pandemic lasting a little bit longer, and now we're giving the American people an additional $1,400, what do we think is going to happen with it? Do we think they're going to go and just spend it? No, because where are they going to spend it? So giving people money is great, but some are saying that we are doing this in the wrong order. We should be opening up the economy and then giving out the $1,400. As of right now, it looks like everything's just going to come out at once, and we'll kind of go through this together and figure out how we can actually proceed. What we do know is that that more Americans are now open to get the vaccine, and this is kind of ties into this $1,400. Some are saying that maybe this was a bribe to get people to take the vaccine, but as of right now, really who knows what Congress is thinking. We are seeing vaccination numbers increase on almost a daily basis, which is really good. Former President Donald Trump did come out last weekend and state that he urges everybody to go and get the vaccine. But now experts, again, they go back and forth. Why people call them experts, I don't know. But now experts are worried that the United States will go from having not enough vaccines to having too many, which could cause other issues. They say that once we reach a point where the vaccine is readily available almost anywhere in the country, then many people might not want it because of the supply and demand principles. So yes, this is no joke. Experts are saying that being that supply is low and the demand's high, that's what's causing so many people to go and get it. But when the demand isn't as high and the supply is even greater, people will be like, well, I don't need to get that today. If I think I'm going to get COVID, I'll just go get that next week or next month, or I'll just get that in the fall right before winter hits when everyone's indoors, and I'll be perfectly fine. Well, that's what experts are saying. That's what they're predicting is going to happen. And this is going to cause kind of a ripple effect of people not going to get the vaccine. But experts do say that that kind of thinking is what could put the United States back into a different type of crisis. They are saying that just because one person goes to get the vaccine in your house, great. Does that mean the rest of your family don't need it? No, because the rest of your family could still contract the virus. That one person would be the safest person. However, if every single person in your family only visits with that one person and nobody else, yes, that would be fine, but what's the likelihood of that actually happening? What we do know right now, okay, again, there's a lot of questions out there, but what we do know right now is this bill, this $1.9 trillion stimulus package, it hasn't even passed yet. It passed through the House initially, went over to the Senate, they modified it, made some changes, amended the bill, and are working on it. As of shooting this video, the House has still not received that bill back, so they can't vote on it yet. But some are expecting this should happen later on today. If not, according to Nancy Pelosi, it will happen tomorrow morning at the latest. So, as we know more, I promise I'll come back and share more. This is the update as of today. If you have any questions, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on, and I'll see you guys on the next one.